We feel it in our chest, the tightness, the quickened breath, the urge to retreat, and we take it as a warning to turn back. But what if we've been reading the signal wrong all along? What if fear isn't a barrier, but a compass pointing us exactly where we need to go? Think about it. Every major breakthrough in your life has probably lived on the other side of something that scared you. The first time you spoke up in class, the first time you went for the job you didn't feel qualified for, the first time you told someone how you really felt. Fear was there, loud and unshakable, but it wasn't there to stop you. It was there to show you that you were standing at the edge of your comfort zone, staring at the doorway to growth. The human brain is wired for safety. Thousands of years ago, fear kept us alive, warning us of predators, danger, and uncertainty. But today, most of the fear we feel isn't about survival. It's about identity, pride, and change. We fear rejection. We fear failure. We fear looking foolish. These aren't life or death threats, but our brain reacts as if they are. And that's why so many of us get stuck. We mistake emotional discomfort for danger and turn away from the very challenges that would change our lives. Here's the truth. The things that scare you most are often the exact things you must pursue. Fear is rarely random. It points toward the places where you have the most to gain, the most to learn, and the most to become. If you feel nervous about starting that business, giving that speech, making that call, that's a signal. The fear is telling you there's something important here. Picture a compass in your hand. North is where you're safe and comfortable. No surprises, no risks, no rewards. But the needle keeps spinning toward fear. Every time you think about changing jobs, starting the project, or chasing the dream, the needle points straight at it. That's not an accident. That's the signal. The problem is, we've trained ourselves to read that compass backward. We see fear and turn away, thinking we're avoiding trouble, when in reality, we're avoiding growth. Every time we walk away from fear, we shrink our world just a little bit more. We reinforce the belief that comfort is where we belong, and we give fear more control over our lives. But the people we admire most, they've learned to read the compass correctly. They still feel fear. They just move toward it instead of away from it. They've realized that the trembling hands, the racing heart, the uneasy feeling in their stomach, those aren't signs to stop. They're signs they're on the right path. The next time fear shows up, don't ask, "How do I get rid of this?" Ask, "What is this pointing me toward?" Because fear, when understood, isn't your enemy. It's your guide. It's the whisper in your ear saying, "There's something here for you." If you're willing to step forward and claim it, fear will never vanish completely. The goal isn't to kill fear, it's to change your relationship with it. Most people wait for fear to disappear before they take action. They think, "Once I'm confident, I'll do it." But that day never comes. The secret isn't waiting for courage to replace fear. It's moving with fear, using it as a partner rather than an opponent. And that starts with rewiring how your mind interprets that feeling. When you feel fear, your body reacts. Heart racing, palms sweaty, breath shallow. Most people label this as a bad sign. But here's the truth. Physiologically, fear and excitement are almost identical. The difference is how you interpret it. Elite athletes do this all the time. Before a big game, they don't say, "I'm terrified." They say, "I'm ready." Their body's physical reaction, the adrenaline, the focus, the alertness, becomes fuel instead of an anchor. You can do the same thing. The next time you feel fear, don't say, "I'm scared." Say, "I'm ready." Your body is literally preparing you to act. That energy is not a warning to stop. It's your system arming you for the moment. Your brain's fear center, the amygdala, doesn't know the difference between a tiger chasing you and a crowd watching you give a speech. It just detects discomfort and triggers the same fight or flight response. To rewire this, you have to teach your brain that the feared event isn't actual danger. This is why exposure works. The more you face the thing you fear, the less your brain treats it like a threat. If public speaking terrifies you, start with 3 people in your living room. If starting a YouTube channel scares you, upload your first video knowing it will get barely any views. And that's okay. Every exposure lowers the danger signal in your brain. Fear is like a guard dog. At first, it barks at everything unfamiliar. But over time, as you calmly walk past the same thing over and over, the barking stops. Here's a powerful exercise. Write down the things that scare you most right now. Then, rank them from least intimidating to most intimidating. This is your fear map. Your job is to work through them systematically, starting with the smaller fears and moving toward the bigger ones. This builds a momentum of courage. Each small victory proves to your brain that you can act in the presence of fear, and that proof compounds. One of the biggest fears people have isn't the act itself, it's failing publicly. But here's a mindset shift. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the tuition you pay for success. Every skill, every breakthrough, every win is built on a foundation of failed attempts. When you fail, you're not going backward. You're just paying for the lesson. And unlike tuition in college, the lessons fear teaches you will make you rich in experience, resilience, and self-belief. There comes a point when you've read the books, watched the videos, done the journaling, and taken all the mental notes you can, and you still have to step in. Preparation has its place, but at some point, you're standing at the edge of the fire, and the only way forward is through it. This is the moment most people turn back. It's the moment where excuses feel the most reasonable, where your brain whispers, "Not today, maybe tomorrow." But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. You will never feel completely ready. The fire will always look too hot from the outside. The first step burns the worst. When you finally move toward the thing you fear, it feels unnatural. Your body wants to retreat. Your instincts scream for comfort. But courage doesn't feel good in the beginning. It feels like chaos. Think of a firefighter running into a burning building. The heat slams them in the face. The smoke blinds them. The noise is overwhelming. But they've trained for this moment. Not to make it easy, but to make it possible. Walking into your fear is the same. The first steps are the hardest because your mind is trying to pull you back to safety. When the fire feels too big, Break it into embers. Don't focus on conquering the fear forever. Focus on the next 60 seconds. If you're afraid of networking, start by walking into the room, not by having the perfect conversation. If you're afraid of posting your first video, hit record and upload. Don't obsess over lighting or edits. If you're afraid of starting that business, buy the domain name today and worry about the grand opening later. Small actions don't look heroic, but they are. Because each one is you proving to yourself that fear doesn't own you. And here's what nobody tells you. Once you're in the fire, the fear changes. It doesn't vanish, but it becomes manageable. You stop imagining what it might be like and start dealing with what is. This is where focus sharpens. You realize the monster you built in your head was always bigger than the reality in front of you. I've seen it happen with people jumping out of planes. On the ground, they're pale and shaking. At 10,000 feet, they're panicking. But the second they leap, the fear becomes a rush, replaced by presence, clarity, and adrenaline. The point of walking into the fire isn't to prove you're fearless. It's to prove you're unstoppable despite fear. Every time you step into discomfort, you build an unshakable truth inside you. I can do hard things. And that truth will follow you into every area of your life. You won't just face one fear, you'll face them all differently. Fear wants you to stop at the edge. Your breakthrough is on the other side of the flames. Walk in, not because it's easy, but because your name. The funny thing about fear is that it rarely survives the journey. On the other side of it, you often wonder why it felt so big, why it had such a hold on you, and why you let it shape so many of your choices. Freedom doesn't come when the fear is gone. It comes when you've walked straight through it and realized you were always capable of handling what was inside. The first thing you feel is relief. Relief that it's over. Relief that you made it. Relief that the voice in your head telling you to run was wrong. But quickly, relief turns into something far more powerful. Pride. That pride doesn't come from perfection. It comes from persistence. You did it scared. You did it shaky. You did it unsure. And now you carry proof that you can face the next fear, and the one after that, and the one after that. People who have lived through their fears carry themselves differently. There's a quiet confidence in their voice, a steadiness in the way they move. It's not arrogance, it's ownership. They own the fact that they've been tested, and they know they can survive. That's what freedom looks like. It's not about living without fear. It's about living without being controlled by it. The shackles aren't on your wrists or your feet. They're in your mind. And once you break them, the world opens in ways you couldn't have imagined. Opportunities that used to look intimidating now look inviting. Conversations that once scared you now excite you. Challenges that felt impossible now feel like the next adventure. When you look back, you'll see that the transformation didn't happen in a single moment. It happened in the steps you took despite the fear. The freedom you feel now is built from every shaky breath, every leap of faith, every time you pushed through when quitting would have been easier. That's the truth about the other side. It's not just a place, it's a version of you. Stronger, wiser, freer. And when the next fear shows up, because it will, you won't hide. You'll smile. Take a deep breath and walk toward it, because you know now, without a doubt, that the life you want will always be waiting on the other side.